do you get business loans when you don't have cash flow and you don't have any kind of collateral? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're not just talking about business loans. We're going to be talking about business loans. We're going to talk about credit lines. We're going to talk about credit cards. We're talking about using business credit to be able to qualify for financing. We're going to talk about a lot of different ways that you can get money for your business when you don't have cash flow. What's this mean? It means that as a brand new startup business, we're going to talk about options that will work for you today. We're going to talk about options that are no doc, or you don't have to prove income. So even if you are an established business, but you're not managing your bank account as you should, or you have a hard time verifying your income, we're going to talk about options. And we're also going to talk about a lot of unsecure options. And unsecured means it's not secured by any kind of collateral. You're not putting up account receivables or equipment or inventory or stocks or bonds, or there's a lot of financing that requires that you put up some kind of collateral. And if you are not willing to do that or don't have collateral, well, there's still a lot of other financing options that can still work for you. And that's exactly what we're going to be diving into and talking about today. We're going to decode a lot of these different options that you can get approved for that are not based on cash flow or collateral. Now, we have a special webinar coming up, and the webinar is on 27 different ways to be able to get financing. And we're going over that next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. I won't be here. Steve Weibel is going to be here in my place because I'll be in a mastermind in Sarasota, a little bit south of where I am now. But make sure that you tune in next Tuesday at next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern time. We have a secret partner webinar we've done for years at 3 o'clock. So I misspoke there. So it's at Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern time, and that is going to be February 8th. Now, on February 8th, I'm going to actually reveal to you 27 of the best ways we've ever found to get financing. Ways you can get money if you have credit issues, if you don't have cash flow, if you don't have collateral. So we're going to talk about that next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Make sure, I don't know, even know where my register link is to be able to register for that. But hopefully Keith here will share that with us shortly in our Facebook group. And we will be able to get that for you so you can register. Okay, so what is credit-based business funding? We're going to talk about some of this today. So when we look at 3 C's, and I often refer to this as the 3 C's cash acquisition formula because it's just simple. It's just a really easy way in this crazy lending landscape where there's so many different kinds of loans, there's thousands of different kinds of lenders, and you have no idea where to go. The 3 C's formula just simplifies it. And here's how it works. There's 3 main things lenders look at to give you money. Cash flow is one. Credit is another. Collateral is a third. Now, there's a lot of lenders out there that'll lend you money just based on collateral, based on stocks, bonds, 401ks, IRAs, inventory, equipment, etc. There's other lenders out there that will lend you money just based on cash flow, Fundbox, Blue Vine, On Deck, lots of cash flow financing lenders and merchant cash advancers. Merchant cash advance lenders. Then there's a third C, which is credit-based financing. And credit works on both sides of the coin. There's money you can get just based on having good consumer credit, and there's money you can get just based on having established business credit. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Now, the nice thing about this 3 C's formula is that if you have one C, in this case, credit, you don't need the other 2 C's, cash flow and collateral. So what we're going to talk about today is the financing you can get based on established business credit or having good personal credit where cash flow and collateral, the other 2 C's just don't matter. Now, Johnny says, hey, how do I speak to you all? All you ever have to do is give us a call. My number is on the bottom of these slides, 877-600-2487. And thank you very much for sharing this. I already see people that are sharing the stream, so I appreciate that as well. And here is the link to register for that webinar. You're going to want to take a screenshot. It's like whatever you call the little link that shortens it. So take a screenshot. Here is the webinar on 27 different ways to get money for your business. That's going to take place next week as well. So make sure that you write that down or take a screenshot so you can attend next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Okay, so again, credit-based financing is just based on getting money based on established business or consumer credit. Now, credit-based loan options vary, but again, it's not just loans. We're talking about credit cards today. We're going to talk about credit lines. We're going to talk about loans as well. But what's unique about all 3 of these, whether they're a credit line, a credit card, or a loan, is that you don't have to provide income documentation. It's the equivalent of what we call no doc financing. So no doc financing means that you're able to come in and not verify your income. Now, again, as I started by saying, this can mean you don't have income. you're a startup. It could mean you can't verify your income or you have a hard time verifying your income. Either way, you don't need check stubs. You don't need bank statements. You don't need financial returns. You don't need tax returns. You don't need any other income docs to be able to qualify. So let's talk about some examples. Credit line hybrid we'll talk about today. Loans, lines of credit from alternative lenders, business credit cards, all of which we're going to dive in and decode today. Let's talk about starting with one of my favorite funding programs called Credit Line Hybrid. Now, Taisha says, hey, my question for Ty is about nonprofit organization, corporation that are hooked on you. How do you apply these techniques to these entities? Exactly the same. You know, what's nice about business credit building is that it applies to all industries, even nonprofits. Now, the problem nonprofits face is that when it comes to getting loans or credit lines, it's really hard to be able to get a lot of those. Now, we actually start here with the best credit line program I've ever seen for nonprofits. So there are definitely credit lines and loans you can get for nonprofits. A little bit tougher than for profit businesses, but business credit's just as applicable. Everything I teach about fundability and business credit is just as applicable to nonprofits. And by the way, Taisha, if you go to youtube.com/credit suite and just search nonprofits, you're going to find I've done training on just all different kind of ways you can get financing for nonprofits, including very little known about programs, grants, free money, all kinds of things that I think will help you. So check that out as well. So credit line hybrid, unsecured, you don't need collateral. It's no doc funding, as we've talked about. It's based on good personal credit. You do have to provide a guarantee, but a lot of the credit lines you're going to get through this program report to the business credit reporting agencies. And by building your business credit, you can eventually get away from those personal guarantees. Now, you can get approved for as much as $150,000 in credit lines. You can get it as a nonprofit. You can get it as a high-risk industry. You can get it as a startup business. Okay, so you're typically going to get about 5 credit lines or more. You'll typically get about 5 times the amount of your highest revolving credit limit now on whatever major credit card you have. So let's say, for example, I have a Chase credit card with a $10,000 limit. This program gets me about 5 times or more of that limit. So that's, 5 times of 10 grand is $50,000. You can get $50, $75, $100, $150,000 on this program up to, again, 150 grand is typically what I see. I sometimes see other people out there that advertise the similar program up to 250, but we put it at 150 because the reality is we've never seen anybody really get the 250 that all these sources out there claim that you're going to get. So that's the way I am. I don't embellish things. We're just going to tell you what reasonably you can get. Now, what's nice about this, and the reason it's called credit line hybrid is this. If you look at the best benefits of a credit card, it's that you can get 0% for sometimes up to 18 months. Same with credit line hybrid. You can get 0% rates for up to 18 months. Great for purchases that you're making to grow the business that won't net any kind of revenue return for some time. Great for startups to be able to keep your payments low as you're actually getting the business to start actually making money, right? The other part of the best benefit of a credit line is you could take the cash out and not pay a 20% cash advance fee like you do with credit cards. So when we put the two together, we get credit line hybrid where we could take the cash out at 0%, only program that allows you to do so. So imagine getting 150,000 in credit lines, then cashing them out at 0% and taking the cash at 0%. Now you might not need to do that. There's a lot there's not a lot of stuff that you can't use a credit line to buy, right? If I have a Visa card, if I have a Mastercard, if I have a credit line, I can use that to buy just about anything. I could buy marketing services. I could buy anything at stores. I could pay for payroll. I can pay for almost anything, but other things I can't. Like, let's say I'm a real estate investor and I want to go buy a property. I can't use a credit card or a credit line in most cases. I can't use that to buy a property, depending on the credit line that it is. But I can liquidate it, take the cash out of it, and go buy the property. So being able to get cash out of 0%, phenomenal benefit that you're only going to see with this credit line hybrid program. In order to qualify, you need good personal credit on this one. So you need to have 680, 700 FICO scores or more. The higher and better your credit, the more money you'll get. The higher your credit limits are, the more money you'll get. The lower your inquiries, the lower your utilization on your existing credit cards, the more money you'll get. But here's the cool thing about this is that half of our clients that use this program have bad credit. So how do they qualify? They use a guarantor. They use a family member. They use a friend. They use a potential investor that wants to actually get started in the business. Okay. Or that wants to actually get a return or help that actual business owner. So we see half of the clients that we help with this program have bad credit, but they're using a family member, a friend, or somebody else's credit to be able to qualify. So credit line hybrid, you need good credit from you or somebody else to qualify. Now keep in mind, 75% of business owners get money from family and friends. So instead of relying on them to give you cash, you could use their credit to qualify for programs like this. Keep in mind, there's a lot of people out there that want to invest into what you're doing, invest in small businesses, invest in business ideas. Okay. I'm one of those people. I don't really jump in and start new businesses very often. I have my main business here is Credit Suite. I've got a couple things I do on the side that I do for fun. I have a land business. I have an auto business where I rent out high-level RVs and vehicles and all the stuff that I own. But when I get into something and start something, I guarantee there's a lot of people around me that if I said to them, hey, will you give me some of the startup capital and I'll give you ownership? They would be like, oh yeah, without a doubt, I'm in. Because they know that what I touch turns to gold, not because of luck, because I'm willing to dedicate the time and energy to make something successful. Like I'm willing to work the late nights. I'm willing to put my kids to bed and stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning to get a new venture off the ground and go to work at 6. I don't care. I'm so excited. And people in my circle know that. So they would love to get a rate of return of what I'm doing to front startup money. So this is a way to bring other people in to get you the money you need and family and friends. The guarantor aspect of this program is something you definitely want to think about because it can open up a lot of opportunities for you. And Taisha says, I've been working with Credit Suite. I'm a member of Credit Suite. All right, awesome, Taisha. So that being said, let me go back to your original question. Okay, perfect. So then you should, if you have any questions along the way, then just talk to your advisors. They could talk to you about any hiccups that you may run into being a nonprofit. So business credit cards, a lot of different types of business credit cards. I call bank credit or universal type credit cards as Visa cards, Mastercards, right? American Express, Discover, they're accepted everywhere. Then there's what we call vendor credit. And vendor credit are Uline and Granger, they're starter vendors. But vendors, by definition, also are every major retailer. So if I go to Amazon and they give me a credit card to use on Amazon to buy inventory, then that's a vendor credit. Amazon's a vendor giving me vendor credit, meaning I'm getting credit to buy stuff at Amazon, right? Walmart issues vendor credit, Staples, Home Depot, every retailer does. And what vendor credit means is I can use that credit to buy stuff in those locations, in their stores. I can't take my Amazon card and use it anywhere. But there are universal credit cards. So let me give you an example. Sam's Club has a vendor credit card you can only use at Sam's Club. Sam's Club has a universal type credit card. They have a Mastercard you could use at Costco if you want to. So a lot of credit issuers, places like Sam's Club will offer both, right? They'll offer you one that you can use anywhere. They'll offer you one you can only use to buy their stuff. Amazon is similar. They have multiple loans and credit lines you can use, especially as an Amazon, as somebody that has an Amazon business to actually be able to buy the stuff that you need. They've got stuff you can only use on Amazon and stuff you can use elsewhere. So when you look at business credit cards, I did a review of this weeks ago. You can go back and check. There's a lot of things you want to look at. Some people look at rewards points, right? Some people look at 0% periods for how long they're for. Some people look at the annual fee, whether there is or there isn't one. Some people look at the average interest rate of the card. There's all these variables that will help you choose the card that you want, but you might want to think about that. What's important to you? Do you want the lowest interest rate card after the 0% expires? Do you want 0% for the longest period of time? Do you want rewards points, especially on hotels or on airline travel? You've got to figure out what the benefit is that you mainly want out of the card, because these cards are so much different based on what the benefit is that you want. Now, what's about terms and qualifying? Well, I kind of think there's 3 categories of credit cards. Now, I'm just making this up on the fly, so don't write this down anywhere because it's just my perception being in the space. There's regular business credit cards that you need to have a personal guarantee with. Like you're going to go get a Bank of America credit card. Those ones almost always require good personal credit. Just like Credit Line Hybrid, they almost always require good personal credit in order to be able to get approved. As a matter of fact, if I'm going to go get a Bank of America or a Chase credit card, I'm going to look into Credit Line Hybrid because I'll get 5 times more money, then I just go to get one of those credit cards that requires good credit. Most of them do. The second one's a really slim category, and it's business credit cards that don't necessarily require good credit. Most of them that have a personal guarantee of credit check, they want good credit. Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, Barclays Bank, etc. Right? Then there's a really small slither that don't. Capital One Smart Card, for example. You don't have to have good credit to get a Capital One Smart Card, right? Very small slither, not really seeing secure credit cards in the business space. Wells Fargo used to have one, it's gone. They don't really have anything that's good out there in the secured space. Then we look at the third category or bucket, and that's credit cards that can be obtained based on business credit quality. We don't care about personal credit. We don't have personal guarantees. We built our business credit. We got 14 payment experiences on our credit report, as we talked about in yesterday's training. Now we can get a Visa card. Now we can get a Mastercard just because our business credit quality is good. So we're going to talk about these buckets a little bit more in depth today. Now, as I mentioned, in order to get the no personal guarantee Visa Mastercards, we got to have at least 14 of those accounts on our business credit reports, or we're not going to be able to get approved. So let's dive in. Let's talk about Alpine Bank. So Alpine Visa Platinum Rewards Card, good card for both APR and the fact that the amount you need to spend for a bonus is fairly low. A lot of these will say, hey, if you spend $5,000 in the first 90 days, you're able to get approved and be able to get 10,000 points on the card, whatever. Well, they have really no annual fee, really low requirement of spend to be able to get the bonus, and low APR, which is one of the reasons that we like Alpine Bank Visa, the Platinum card, so much. Okay, and a lot of these, again, that we're talking about today, these you can get based on having 14 payment experiences or more on your business credit reports. So Amazon Prime Store credit card, 5% cash back, no annual fee. Not really high limits on this one, but again, it allows you to buy a lot of the stuff on Amazon and even buy outside of Amazon as well when it comes down, and you can get approved completely based on business credit quality. So even with bad personal credit, you're able to get this because you're able to come in and use business credit, established business credit, in order to actually get approved. And Tasha says, how about a bit of that magic touch with my nonprofit? Yes. Well, look, it's not, like I said, it's not magic. What it comes down to is it really just comes down to hard work and dedication. And not to get off point here, but Taisha does bring up a good point. Look, the one thing I can tell you as owning a business, I've owned multiple businesses. I've owned businesses that have completely failed and bankrupted me. And I've owned businesses that are 8-figure businesses like Credit Suite that are massively successful. And I can tell you the one thing, and only one, there's only one thing that you need to be super successful in business. Only one. And it's resilience. You just got to be resilient. And for those of you, and I age myself by saying this, but for those of you that remember the old Rocky films, Rocky was a really sucky fighter. The guy wasn't good. He would take all these hits all the time. It wasn't that good if you ever watched the movies. But what happened was he would wear his opponents down so much because he wouldn't give up. He was so resilient. You could not get the guy down to stay down. You couldn't. His other opponents would get exhausted trying. And when they were at their weakest, he would dominate and win. And this is exactly what I look at business ownership about. You got to be so resilient. I oftentimes have said in growing a business that the reason I win is because you will get tired knocking me down before I get tired getting back up. And that's it. You can knock me down and I'll get back up. And eventually you're going to get life and business and all the obstacles that get thrown out of you will get so exhausted throwing obstacles in my way that I'll make a little leap forward. And then I'll face more obstacles that get pushed back, but then I'll make another leap forward and another leap forward. And honestly, it really is about running a business. It's just about resilience, about sticking in there, fighting the fight, not getting beaten. And no, the obstacles will continue to keep coming. They never stop, but you just have to be resilient to fight them. And eventually, as the business gets bigger, then you really have less of those obstacles. But Taisha, not to get off topic, but I love what you actually said there. Jamie Richards says, I love your content. Jamie, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, man. I appreciate you tuning in. Bank of Hope Business Rewards Visa Card. No annual fee. Earn triple points on gas. So if you own a transportation type business, this is perfect for you. Get double points on traveling and dining and earn 1 point per dollar on all purchases. By the way, if you don't mind, give me a shout out. Tell me where you're from. I always like with Jamie here and other examples like Tisha, just to say hi. So just tell me, say, hey, Ty, I'm tuning in from Minneapolis, Minnesota, wherever it may be, so I can give you a shout out. I always love to do so. Okay. Bank of Hope should be easier for most entrepreneurs to meet the minimum spend requirements for them to get points. Okay. Plus, making the bonus points more relevant, triple points on gas, as I mentioned. And again, really good if you're in the transportation industry. Really like this one. Lowest APR after the intro period that we found as well. And if your credit's not that great, well, then you may want to avoid this one. This one is good, is based on having good personal credit, not established business credit. Like I said, most of them are going to fall into the category of good personal credit if they're not based on having established business credit. Now, Banner Bank Commercial Rewards Mastercard, okay, get 3 rewards points per every dollar on net retail, internet, phone, mail order purchases, any of that stuff. Again, credit cards will oftentimes give you points if you spend double points, triple points if you spend it on groceries or gas or hotels or airlines. So you got to look at your business, right? I mean, what you need money back or if you need money back or points on these other things, it depends on how you run your business. I use a lot of our points on travel because I travel a lot. So that's important to me. But sometimes gas is important to people that are over the road truckers, or, being able to buy stuff at office supply stores is important for people that work in an office. So you got to kind of decide what is important to you when it comes down to these rewards points, because all these cards are definitely different. We talked about this one earlier, Capital One Spark Business Credit Card. Interest rate's a little bit higher, but you only need fair credit. This one is based on established consumer credit, but you only need fair credit to get approved. The drawback of this one, what I don't like about this, is that it reports to both consumer and commercial reporting agencies. I have a Capital One Spark card. It's never used. And what I mean by never, it's my last resort credit card. And, being in the business credit space, I don't ever need my last resort credit card. But Capital One gives us a credit card that we don't use because they insist on reporting it on my consumer credit. How crazy is that? Credit Suite's an 8-figure business, but yet when I spend on my Capital One Spark card, Capital One feels it's essential to actually be able to show that on my personal credit report. It's ridiculous. Then they affect my utilization and affect my ability to run my personal life. So we don't use it. But if you have challenged personal credit and your business credit's not yet really established, this is a really good one of the best ones I've ever found to be able to use, because you do build business credit and you can get approved even with average personal credit. So something to think about as well. And Taisha says, I've been diligently for the nonprofit. I totally agree with you about this. The only time I break is when you are on the webinar. I appreciate that. That's a hard working right there. Dewan, thanks for coming in from New Orleans and saying hello. Tuning in from Southwest Texas. Hello, Taisha Tucker. I appreciate you coming in. And Nita, I'm sorry I mispronounced your name. But thanks for coming in from Las Vegas as well. August from California is coming in, and Jody's coming in from Texas. Thanks for coming in and saying hello, everybody. So Capital One Spark, one of the best ones I found if you have challenged personal credit. Chase Inc., okay, pretty good interest rate. Get 5% cash back on the first $25,000 that you spend. Okay, the agreement does not prohibit you using your card to buy price your items. So you can price your items in order to hit your 25 grand to get your 5% cash back. So some things to think about. Let's talk about this for a second. Cash back is very important. And here's why. If you get cash back on a credit card, 1%, 2%, 3%, or 5%, then if you really think about that, if I use the credit card to buy the stuff I would normally just buy without the credit card, then it's free money for me. Okay, just absolute free money. So let me just give you a crazy and a little bit of a radical example, but let me throw it out there. So let's say that, well, no, it's actually not. Let's say that it's a real reasonable example. Let's say I spend $10,000 a month to run my business. Okay, well, if I'm getting a credit card like this that gives me 5% cash back, then just by using my credit card instead of my debit card or bank account, then I automatically get $500 back just because I'm spending my 10 grand. Now, $500 might or might not be a lot of money to you, but multiply that times 10. What if it's $100,000? Now, all of a sudden, just by spending what I normally spend in my business, I get back $5,000 of extra money. It's free money for me. So this is why one of the reasons you should use credit cards, in my opinion, to pay for everything in your business, especially if they report to the business credit reporting agencies. Because what happens is I want lenders, I want credit issuers to see that I'm spending this money. And if I pay it off before interest is accrued, before the billing, actually the billing pay statement or the billing period ends and I've got to pay interest, then I don't pay any interest. I get cash back and I get credit for spending the money. Now, if I just use my debit card or I use my bank account for it, I get no cash back. I wouldn't get that $5,000 cash back in the example I just gave you. Lenders and credit issuers cannot see that I'm spending that much money, okay? So I don't get those benefits. So I'll give you a simple example. We spend $1 million plus a year in advertising, over $1 million, right? And we pay for it using our American Express card. And we do that because we pay for the ad spend every week, and then we pay it off. But what happens is when our people look at our business credit reports, lenders and credit issuers see that we spend $1 million a year on that Amex card. So guess what? Now when I go get a Chase credit card, Chase sees I'm spending $1 million on Amex, and Chase says, I want that business. And Chase gives us higher approvals and better terms because they want our business, because they want us to spend $1 million with them instead. So this is very important. You want to use the credit cards that report to the reporting agencies as much as you can. Use them to pay for everything you would normally pay cash for, because if you pay cash, nobody sees that you're paying cash. Nobody gives you credit for that. It's not helping you build business credit. It's not helping you get higher limits with future approvals. You're not getting cash back. But if you're using these credit cards strategically, you could do just that. As a matter of fact, I have friends in my circle that literally travel the world and pay for 100% of their hotel, their airfare, all based on these rewards points and the cash back they're getting. So a lot of benefits there. A lot of business owners I know that do just that. They use their rewards points and save them to take their family on vacation once a year. Okay, so there's a lot of benefits in doing this. Now, a lot of things so with the Chase Bank credit card, again, one of my favorites for a lot of different reasons, including really good bonus rewards, really no annual fee, and really low interest rate. Now, another is the CitiBank Costco Anywhere Visa business credit card, okay? And with this one, you can actually use this with established business credit. So you could get it with establishing your business credit, or you could get it with good personal credit, one or the other, okay? 4% cash back on eligible purchases, including like gasoline, things you buy at Costco, okay? For the first $7,000 you spend in a year, then you get 1% cash back after that. You get 3% cash back on restaurant eligible travel purchases. So if you travel a lot, if you eat out a lot, obviously a very good card for you to have. 2% cash back on all other purchases from Costco. 1% cash back on everything else. No annual fee. Got to be a Costco member. Super cheap to be one to get it. But again, you can get this with good personal credit. You can get it with just established business credit. So something you definitely want to consider as well. So to recap, I just kind of touched upon almost every credit card that I showed you today. You can get just based on business credit quality. A couple of them, not, right? I threw one in with a Capital One Spark because I wanted you to have an option with not good personal credit to get approved if you don't have 14 payment experiences on your business credit reports. We talked about Credit Line Hybrid. We talked about the best program I've ever seen to get credit lines. We talked about 8-10 different credit cards. Some you can get with good personal credit. A lot you can get by establishing your business credit. And then we talked about even an option without good personal credit like the Capital One Spark card, all of which can be used to grow the business. What is the one thing that's consistent about everything I showed you today? You do not need to have cash flow. They're all no doc, and they're all unsecured. So you're able to get approved even if you don't have collateral as well. Now, next time we're going to talk about maximizing business credit scores, including a breakdown of exactly how the credit scores work so you can manipulate them legally, of course, and control them to get good scores. Look, business credit scores control and reports and scores control three things: whether you get approved or denied for credit or financing, how much money you get approved for, and the rates and terms you'll pay. As a matter of fact, I'll show you next week how business credit reports tell credit issuers how much money they should issue you. The credit bureaus are telling the credit issuers how much they recommend your credit limits be. So my goal for you is let's understand the system and let's beat it. Let's get the bureaus to do our dirty work for us and tell the credit issuers and lenders to give us a lot of money, which is what we want. Let's control the credit scores to be able to get the lowest and best terms, the most amount of money. It's exactly what we're going to be diving into today. And don't forget, if we can ever help you get financing, all you ever have to do is give us a call. And in giving us a call, we will do three things with you. We'll do a fundability assessment to figure out what's wrong with fundability, what to fix so you can turn around and get approved for credit financing. We will also get your business credit reports for you for free. We're the only source on the planet that you can get Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian credit reports at no cost. And by the way, we don't get them for free. When we give them to you for free, it costs us money. But we do it because it's so important that you get access to your credit reports that we're willing to pay for them and lose money to make sure that you have them. It's crazy. People think we're crazy, but they also think we're crazy by giving you all this information for free. It's just how we roll, right? And the third thing is we'll do a fundability or funding assessment to tell you all the loans or credit lines you can get now. Don't forget that you are able, and hopefully Keith here is going to throw up a link to get you access for you to get registered for our 27 ways to get financing in 2022. We're going to be covering that. And I'm so sad I can't be here, but I have a mastermind next week. So next week, we're going to cover 27 different ways to get money to grow your business. We're going to talk about what they are, what it takes to get approved. You're going to leave this one training and go, wow, I know like 7 different ways now to get money to fund my business in 2022, either when these other people said there was no way. Now you'll know. So we're going to be covering that next week. That link is in the chat, and I'm going to probably pull it up right here on the screen. If Keith is going to give me that option, I'll pull that up on the screen for you as well. And hello from Hampton, Virginia. La Cruz, New Mexico. George, hey man, welcome back, man. Thanks for coming in. Earl, hey, you're the best YouTuber to mention first YouTuber to mention Frost Bank for business credit products. You included them a couple days ago. Can you share more info about them? Do you have to apply in person? Let me try to get you some of that info right now. And keep in mind, I don't try to self-promote, but guys, these are the kind of questions you just don't have if you're working with us. It's cheaper to actually work with us than try to go about this on your own. And when you are working with us, you don't have to do it. Look, this is how simple this is for me. I come in to build my business credit. I come into tier 4 where I need 14 accounts to get approved. I see Frost Bank. I go to learn more, and here's everything that you need to know to be able to get approved. So you've got to have the Secretary of State, business credit history, EIN, business address matching everywhere, DUNS number. Okay. If your fundability is not in line, they're going to have $5 million in revenue to get approved or a guarantee. So you've got to make sure you've got 14 payment experiences and you've got to have your fundability in line, or you're going to have $5 million in revenue or a guarantee. So some things to keep in mind there. And the best way to apply is right here, frostbank.com/business/banking cards. You can get the information you need right there to be able to get approved. So again, hopefully that answers your question. And again, this is just how easy it is when you're actually a client of ours. You go right into the back office, you pick what you want, you come in, you apply. By this point, most of our clients have already met that criteria that's needed in order to get approved. Hello, Edward from Orlando. Thanks for tuning in and saying hello. Okay, and here's the slot. Here's the webinar link I've been looking for. So you can actually come in and you can register for the webinar for 27 ways right now. Take a screenshot of this, type it in your URL, register. Registration is 100% free. And Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I love Baton Rouge, is in the house as well. Thanks for saying hello. So don't forget to give us a call for a free consultation, free business credit reports, tips and tactics to build your business credit, free fundability assessment, and funding qualification. And don't forget to like and subscribe. If you got value, the only thing I ask is hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You're hearing from a lot of people that say, hey, this is the best part of my day. This is where I break free to check things out. Hey, I'm back again and again, because we cover all new stuff, all based on helping you get money for your business. And you'll also see people come again and again and again into these live streams. Like yesterday, hey, I got $15,000 Amex card. Hey, I got approved for this. Hey, somebody said I started with nothing. I followed your training. I've got like 19 trade lines now. It works. And this is all about helping you get money for your business. So if you like this, like and subscribe on the channel you're watching on. Make sure You can check out our other social channels at the top right of our page, creditsuite.com. We have daily tips on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We have over 1,000 videos on YouTube. We have 1-minute tips on Instagram and on TikTok as well. And I've got a podcast where you can listen on the go. And here's the secret. The podcast is the only place where I get away from just the money theme and I start interviewing people that will help you actually grow a successful business. So the podcast is where you can listen to the biggest experts in their fields about branding your business and generating revenue and Facebook ads and, everything you need to know to run a successful business. All of that can be accessed at the top right of our page, creditsuite.com. Don't forget to take a screenshot and make sure you're here Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern, where we talk about 27 killer ways to get money to grow your business. You're going to find ways that will work for you. Even if you think there's no way you can get funding, I'm going to reveal stuff, or we're going to reveal stuff to you next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Make sure you take a screenshot and register for that webinar now. Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you on our next training where we talk about more cool ways to get money to start and grow your business. Have a great day.